All right, everybody, welcome to Talking Taker, episode number 51 of our encyclopedic exploration, digging up the career of the greatest professional wrestling character of all time. I want to thank you for joining us for yet another round of Dead Man Talking. My name is Alex Dorio. I am one of your co-hosts, one of the creatures of the night, and I am joined, as always, by my tag team partner, my wrestling buddy, Mr. Travis White himself, the one and only. And Travis, my man, are you ready to play judge, jury, and executioner for the night?
Oh, I am. Speaking of executioner, I'm glad he's gone. Let's company at this point. Let's not play with executioner.
No.
Yeah. Oh, Terry
Once
Gordy.
was enough.
Yeah, once was enough. I'm ready to play judge and jury. So, yeah, executioner can go. Yeah, man, I'm ready for Judgment Day. I remember specifically this particular poster thinking that the word judgment was spelled wrong because I'd always spelled it Judgement, and then I had to look up on in a dictionary and realize you can spell it both ways. So, yeah, kudos to WWE for teaching me how to spell.
I pretty much remember having that conversation with you. I think in middle school. We're in 7th grade now at this point in life. We're still in 6th grade. No, we're in 7th grade. It's October '98.
Yeah, it's October.
Yeah, we've started off 7th grade. We're huge wrestling fans. We've definitely bonded on that at this point back in time. I remember talking about that, man.
Yeah, I remember how stupid they can't even spell judgment. And I had to look it up. You can spell it both ways apparently. Wrestling. So I guess the E is silent anyway. So let's drop it.
I remember being in elementary school and thinking of the word intercontinental when talking about the continents. So I'm trying to spell trying to spell continent. I'm like, okay, intercontinental title. I know how that's spelled, so I can spell continent. And wrestling is educational.
It is. Absolutely it is. So that's what I keep telling myself. 25 years later.
Yeah, all this stupid, useless knowledge in our head. But, yeah, man, tonight we've got jury duty. We're talking Judgment Day, October 1998. So, as Vince McMahon wants us to do, let's humble ourselves and go through this this breakdown.
Well, glad it's Vince and not the Iron Sheik wants to humble ourselves.
Thank goodness, man.
Or he'll make us humble.
Oh, he will.
Yeah. So let's humble ourselves as Vince promotes or encourages us to do, and let's break down, if you will, this pay-per-view. So
let's gas up the hearse and travel back in time to September 28th, 1998, where it all begins. We're picking up the night after Breakdown in Your House, which we covered last week on episode 50 of the show, and of course, a wild ending to that matchup, a triple threat matchup with Undertaker, Kane, and Stone Cold Steve Austin. And Undertaker and Kane picked up the win together, seemingly, with a double pinfall over Stone Cold Steve Austin. And, in theory, it looked like, this could possibly be the Undertaker's third title reign, maybe. He pinned the WWF champion somehow. But, of course, Vince McMahon is the one who left with the title. And he is going to enter into the arena here at the beginning of Monday Night Raw with Stone Cold Steve Austin's WWF title, just as he promised and guaranteed last week on Raw.
He's a man of his word. He promised and said he was going to do it. Usually, if a heel does that, promises something, it's okay to write it off or it's not going to happen. But if a face does, the face. If the face doesn't come through with it, then they're a liar and you've lost you've lost the crowd. So I'm surprised to hear the heel. He's promised it and he came through, but again, Vince McMahon's the biggest heel in the business at this point.
Gosh, man.
And it's almost not even more apparent than it is during this build-up. It is incredible.
Yes, yes. This night and the next few weeks going on, he's having the time of his life too.
Oh yeah,
he is. Yeah, and he's so perfect at it, dude. I'll talk about it more later on, but yeah. He comes out to Stone Cold's music, opening up this episode of Raw. So the crowd goes nuts when they hear the glass breaks. But Vince McMahon comes out with the title. He's got security surrounding them and cuts a promo saying that there's not going to be a rematch this time. Not going to make the mistake that he made after King of the Ring '98, where Kane took the title. So it's not going to be a rematch. But tonight he's going to offer this magnanimous gesture in Vince McMahon's word of the day that
exactly
he's going to declare tonight Stone Cold Appreciation Night.
Oh, what a jerk! What a heel move, man!
Oh,
It's so
for
good.
sure.
But I remember watching this episode and thinking I knew something was up because there's no rampway. There's no, the entranceway is just flat, and I was like, huh, this is good. But yeah, I think so. Then I thought Stone Cold Appreciation Night, they're going to do something. Who knows what's going to happen here? But there's a reason for this. But we'll find out what that reason is later on. But yeah, I do love that Vince talks about here that he said tonight we're going to crown a new WWF champion, and the champion will be presented the official WWF belt, not this
Yes.
this smoke and skull one, because this one will be above the fireplace in one of my many homes. So
And that's an important point. Let's remember that. Bank
yeah,
that in your memory, folks, because this is one of the great points of Vince Russo is he
yep,
would plant little seeds like this and pay them off, because that is actually going to get paid off here in a few months with a
very
little
true.
angle going on. And I don't want to spoil it if you've never gone through this build up before, but remember Vince McMahon saying he's going to place the Smoking Skull belt above the mantelpiece in one of his homes. It's going to come into play.
Yep, that's right.
Long-term
Absolutely.
storytelling.
Yeah, at its best. So then later on, perhaps one of the most recognizable moments of the Attitude Era, and I know that I'll never forget watching this live. It's been in every single recap video from the Attitude Era. It's one of the top things anyone remembers. So Vince is out and with the Stooges, and I think he's got some security, and the cops are out there, and he's got this. I'll never forget that display case that has the WWF title in it, and
The Winged
he calls
Eagle.
yeah,
He's got the official belt back, and not the one they brought out after WrestleMania. The blue one. I don't know what that one's called. You know what I mean?
yeah, the one after the one they made just for Austin, then he made his own belt. Yeah.
Yes. But it's the Winged Eagle belt that got back out this time.
Oh, this is the wing. This is the one like the Hogan one. The
Yeah,
Winged
it's
Eagle.
the one
Wow.
Austin won at
Yeah, the one he
WrestleMania,
won.
but then they
Okay.
retired. But it's the Winged Eagle that's back. It's they went backwards.
Very cool. Very cool. So yeah, he's got that in there, and in that display case, it's a red carpet in the ring. Everything's very pristine and prestigious. And again, Vince calls out Undertaker and Kane. He's going to present one of them with the championship, and cut backstage, and I'll let you take it from here, man, because we've been waiting to talk about this. So let's go ahead.
Oh yeah, man. You've got, like you said, top most recognizable moments of the Attitude Era. Probably the beer truck. That one's probably number one. And then we're gonna see in the next couple of weeks, we're gonna see the other top two of the top three. I think. Then this one is one of them. Stone Cold, of course, driving a friggin' Zamboni into the arena. He drives it through a fence backstage, and he's. What's crazy is he's tearing down these lights and equipment backstage, and I remember when it aired live, actually it cut the sound out from the live broadcast for like 5 minutes. He actually drove over some of the sound equipment and stuff and cut out the feed. And on the network it's fixed, but you hear JR and King say something in the commentary still about, are we on the air? Like something like that. Because I remember watching it live. Yeah, the sound was out when it happened. They would show the replays and they'd fix the sound on there. But he drives into the arena, bumps into the ring, and the ring moves like 6 inches.
He moves the ring like 6 to 12 inches, man. He just slams into. And I've heard him. You and I both heard him talk on his podcast about how he's. This was the first day he learned to drive. He's like, I'll drive anything. You just got to teach me. And he learned that day and ran over some lighting equipment, tore the sound out of the arena, and smacked into the ring, man. It's so good. So
the crowd is going crazy. It's just, he looks incredible. He looks like a star, super mega star doing it. He gets on top of the Zamboni and hits a flying clothesline onto McMahon into the ring. It's the best, man. It's the absolute
It's so
best.
good. And Vince takes that bump like a champion.
He does.
Talk about the Stooges. Now Vince is not known for his bump taking. He's awful, but this one is good. Brian Austin laid it in there. Brian just hit it.
For sure.
And then one of my favorite things too is this inflatable Stone Cold comes flying into the ring. I guess it was there for a Stone Cold Appreciation Night. I have no idea where it came from.
Somebody launches it into the arena.
Yeah. So not a beach ball, but an inflatable Stone Cold. So yeah.
I'd be okay if people threw those around nowadays. Inflatable Stone Cold dolls. That'd be all right.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Of course, Austin gets arrested because of this. Taker and Kane are just sitting in the background, just watching, just watching
Yeah.
Mr. McMahon get assaulted. They're kind of fed up with Mr. McMahon at this point, so they just watch. And Stone Cold lets out that iconic line. He's just ranting and raving. I ain't through with you yet, not yet by a long shot, Vince. And of course, he's not going to be. He's telling the truth there as he gets escorted out of the arena.
Oh, and that soundbite is played over and over and over again in this build-up, yeah, good stuff, man. But you can tell he just ad-libbed that, but it was great.
Oh yeah,
But
he was the king of that.
oh yeah, so good. And then yeah, I mean Austin getting taken away by the cops, and we come back from commercial, and Vince, Kane, and Taker are in the ring with the title in the case, and Vince reminds the brothers that their deal was they get a shot at the title if they kept Austin from attacking them, and 3 times in the last week Austin has attacked him. So he said, I'm not going to live up to my part of the deal, and so he reneges on his deal with the brothers, and he says now he's going to make a main event at Judgment Day, Kane versus The Undertaker for the WWF title. And not only that, the cherry on top is Austin's a special guest referee. So talk about putting some stakes on the match. Even the ref, we'll see in a minute, but this match has some stakes. It's for a vacant championship, and Austin's the ref, so everything's building to this match.
What do you think about the logic behind that, though? What do you think about the logic of Vince putting the guy he can't control
right
as the guy officiating the match? Yeah. I mean, it's a little questionable.
Kayfabe doesn't make sense, but in real life, he's got to get buy rates. So
of course, right.
Yeah. But yeah, you're right. Kayfabe doesn't make any sense to put him in it. Just like what we talked about last week, that the stipulation for who could pin who in that match at Breakdown. So whatever, but it got people talking. So
it did. Taker and Kane are obviously pissed off about this, but and Vince continues on, and it says, so everyone in this arena tonight does not feel cheated. In this ring, you're going to see Undertaker and Kane in a handicap match against 3 individuals: Ken Shamrock, Mankind, and The Rock. And Vince, again, saying something you probably can't say on TV in 2018. He says,
"Wish you the best of luck. You know why? Because I think the 2 of you are going to need it. Because as far as I'm concerned, it's like dealing with the handicapped.
Uh-oh, easy.
One's physical, and the other is mental."
Pointing at Kane and The Undertaker, making handicap jokes.
Yeah.
Another thing a CEO can't do anymore.
Yeah, yikes, man! You cannot do that again. Not going to find that in my vocabulary, but in our everyday life. But I'm sure at 12 years old we said dumb stuff like that. So,
right.
But Vince is 52 at this point, so
he should know better.
He should know better. Yeah. So anyway, but yeah, he does that, and that sets Taker off. He grabs him by the shirt and says he better watch himself, and has a comment here. I think that. He says, we've talked in the past that Undertaker has stopped himself before he says a curse word. Well, here he's got that new hard eyebrow piercing. He's hardcore. So he says, you need to watch your AWS, and because next time you get out of line with either one of us, you'll be the one who's handicapped, and that I will promise. So, coming back with a one-liner at Vince. So. But Vince has a go ahead.
He immediately goes out of line. He flicks off Undertaker behind their back, and like a great heel, gets caught and just gets that oh crap look on his face, and Undertaker just unloads on McMahon, just wailing on him. Kane follows suit, and again, perfect storytelling here. JR and King start screaming, "Oh no, there's not any cops anymore. All the cops, security guards that were protecting McMahon were all gone because they arrested Stone Cold." So Mr. McMahon's out there all alone. Undertaker puts this leg lock hold that he's been using the past few weeks on Vince and twists him and turns his leg.
That UFC style hold?
Yes.
Yeah. Just JR's official title for it. So.
Kane holds off the Stooges on the outside. And then they take him over to the stairs.
Take him Kane's on Stooge Patrol, and then they take him over to the stairs, and quote unquote break his leg by slamming it with the steel steps, and it looks pretty gross when they slam it. They do it. They do a really good job of hiding it.
Yeah,
They
filming
slam
it, framing
his
it.
ankle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the production is really good on it to hide it. And so it's really good. Again, the crowd is popping huge. Again, I mentioned last week that, these guys are heels, but they're also, it just depends on the situation, how they
Right.
react. They're not straight laced baby faces. They're not despicable heels on the other hand, but they're reacting to situations. And that's what makes this stuff seem pretty cool and real. Because again, here they're getting huge face pops, for attacking Vince because he's the number one heel. So anyway, that leads us
Shades
to
of gray.
not 50, but more than that.
Yeah, just a couple here.
Just a couple
shades of gray. And another great part about more great storytelling here. There's when they take Vince McMahon to the back, he's having to wait around for an ambulance because earlier in the night, Dan Severn was paralyzed by Owen Hart in storyline, which was a crappy storyline. But they got that because of that, there was no ambulance left. So Vince McMahon is left around writhing in pain because of this and can't go to the hospital yet. So I like that subtle touch there. They're paying off, and again, everything is tying together.
Yeah, and that's one thing, attention to detail, and that's one thing that not to talk too much current stuff, but you'll see guys that have been best friends. You'll see Roman Reigns get beat down in the ring, but then Seth Rollins won't come and help him out. It's like, why not? They've been together for 5 years. So, but back then at this time, there was a reason why everybody wouldn't have come out. Like I remember at one point a few months ago, Road Dogg was locked in the locker room,
right?
So he couldn't come out and help Billy Gunn. So attention to detail, nuances like that make this stuff seem so much more believable. You can follow the thread and see where it winds up, and it's just so cool to see that attention to detail. Again, getting off our soapbox, but let's moving on.
Well, another thing too, that all of this that we just talked about, this ate up about 30 minutes in a row on a 2-hour show. Yes.
Yeah.
With no wrestling, quote unquote. There's no matches.
Nope.
And I was highly entertained. Like I could not care less. There was no wrestling in all of this. But, I say that, quote unquote, wrestling. I mean, this is wrestling too.
Right.
We get so fixed up on what happens in the ring, between the bells, work rate, the action in the ring. That's what the peak of wrestling is. That's what 7-star wrestling is. And yeah, man, we love that too. But dude, incredible performing, storytelling, character building. This is what we all love too. And I think, it's, again, I don't want to pick on guys, but Dolph Ziggler, Seth Rollins, it's great. You guys can have a great match. Those guys can't do this, and partially they've never been given the opportunity to do a segment like this, and they've never been put in a place where they could do this kind of incredible storytelling. But man, this was awesome, and I didn't care for a minute that there was no in-ring action happening.
Right. No, very true. Because, you and I are both huge marks for the in-ring work and the work rate and stuff. But, this doesn't even matter because it's all entertaining, and really good. But, that brings us to the main event of the night, which is, like we said, Mankind, Shamrock, and Rock, a handicap match against Taker and Kane. But before they could even start, the three good guys, I guess, Rock, Shamrock, and Mankind, are beating the snot out of each other in the ring.
They all hate each other, too.
Yeah. So, again, more shades of gray there. And, I think that this is summer or fall of '98. So you wanted to mention something here. I think about some references being made on commentary.
Oh, well, in this match, and I noticed it in the past few weeks too. This is right in the middle of when Mark McGuire and Sammy Sosa were trying to break the Hank Aaron's home run record.
Yeah.
And
good old JR.
Oh, not Hank Aaron. Whose record? Who had the 72 home run? Jeez, I'm embarrassed. I can't remember that. Anyway, they're trying to break the single season home run record.
Right.
And, they are throwing out references in every match about when they're swinging chairs and doing stuff. Oh, it's like McGuire and Sosa out there. It's just funny to hear the dated references in there. But besides that, something else pretty historic happens in this match. with the finish.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And it's funny. Speaking of the finish, so it's a decent match, but at the end of the match, you can hear audibly Earl Hebner yell to all 5 guys, "We got 35 seconds. Let's go." He's like, the show's got to wrap up, and so he yells to everyone. They pick up the pace, and The Rock winds up getting a clean pinfall over the Undertaker with an enormous reaction from the crowd, and JR is losing his mind. He can't believe it either, because JR is the one that brought The Rock. I think in like to WWE. So I think in real life he's getting excited that The Rock is beating his other boy Taker here. So he's letting kayfabe go out, and he's in real life he's excited here. So huge victory for Rock, man.
Dude, we have seen it and talked about it a little bit, the rise of The Rock, and it's happening rapidly, right before our eyes, dude.
Yep.
Crazy to see.
A clean pinfall over Undertaker is a surefire way to get you to be main event status.
Oh, so. Yeah, that's
except
a huge
for
rub. Was that clean? I mean,
that was a clothesline.
Well, yeah,
I'm in that match.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
So Kane and Taker are angry at each other basically at the end because, Kane didn't really help Taker there at the end. And Rock, he's kind of wondering what's going on. And so that leads us to, I think the next, or 5 days later on Heat, there's just a quick thing of Vince in the hospital bed. And he just says he'll never forgive Taker and Kane for what happened to him and, breaking his leg, but it's all Austin's fault. So that's all that happened on Heat. That's episode 10 of October 4th, 98. So.
And that's teasing us for Raw the next night on episode 280 on October 5th, 98. This is the one, of course, with Mr. McMahon in the hospital all night, which I'm sure we all remember as well, where he's in the hospital because of what Undertaker and Kane did to him.
Yep.
And, of course, on this night, this is where Mankind shows up to visit Mr. McMahon in the hospital and debuts Mr. Sacco to entertain Mr. McMahon. So we can credit The Undertaker with the debut of Mr. Sacco, one of the most iconic characters and creations of the Attitude Era. Much like we could trace D-Generation X forming to The Undertaker, or The Rock joining the Nation of Domination, as we talked about. It all loosely ties back to The Undertaker. Again, his stamp on all of these iconic moments and incidents and angles is so much wider than I think most of us even remember or realized at the time.
Right, and because it wasn't like it was Val Venus or Goldust putting on Vince McMahon in the hospital. It was Taker, So yeah, you're right. I mean, he's been a staple. We keep saying he's the reason we're doing this. This idea of this podcast even works, because he's been there for so long and been the backbone of this whole company. And yeah, you're right. Indirectly responsible for Mr. Sacco. So Mankind has had some of his most brutal matches in the WWF with Undertaker, and now he can thank him for giving him an easy payday every week
That's
by
right.
just pulling a sweaty sock out of his pants. So yeah, but this is a classic night, man. Again, I remember watching all this and just laughing. We were probably on the phone giggling to each other at this point in our lives too.
Man, I was still laughing watching it this past week. It's still funny.
You're the clown.
Yeah. This McMahon screaming at the nurse, "I said I wanted apple juice."
That's probably a shoot.
Yeah.
Very actually angry. So
there's a little bit of wrestling on this show too, in the ring. Kane ends up wrestling Ken Shamrock. And again, remember, Undertaker is going to be fighting Kane at Judgment Day for the title. So even though the two brothers are aligned now, as Kane is wrestling Shamrock, Undertaker seemingly makes Kane slip on the top rope, which allows Ken Shamrock to pick up the win over Kane. And Undertaker doesn't really show any remorse. He just walks to the back, and we're teasing a little bit of dissension between the brothers as they have to fight each other for the title now. So they may be aligned, but they both want the title, so they're going to do what it takes to become the man on top.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, I like he just doesn't give a crap. Kane slips, he loses, and Taker just takes off to the back. He's just like, whatever.
Yep.
I'm done. Which that'll actually come back to hurt him later on in the night. So
it does.
Again, this is the night with Austin attacks McMahon and gives him the old enema, I guess you could say, at the end, which that'll come into play later on. So we get lots of replays about what happened last week with McMahon's ankle being broken or leg or whatever. But the main event is a huge match, which we'll cover here on our podcast for actual matches they have. This is The Rock versus Undertaker. Main event of Raw this night, and Taker comes out alone. Kane's not by his side, but he does come out during the match and just kind of observes at ringside. But when he's observing, he's kind of staring down Taker, just not really taking his eyes off of him. And so, of course, the ref gets bumped, and they do the double down spot, and Kane grabs a chair. And as Taker gets tossed toward the Irish whip toward his direction, he smashes Taker in the back with it, and that allows Rock to hit a rock bottom. But of course, the ref is out, so he can't cover. The Kane slides a chair in the ring, which is a mistake, as we'll find out, and then he just goes to walk away. And then Taker picks up Rock and tombstones him on the chair and slides the chair out, and of course, Earl Hebner magically reappears and counts 3 count. So again, Taker did beat The Rock here. So even though he got his win back, but a dirty win here, using the chair to cheat. So
yeah, the shades of gray continuing on here as Undertaker gets his win back, but more dissension teased between the brothers. Is their alliance crumbling? What are they going to do? Who wants to be champion more? All this stuff.
Yeah, and as much as we talk about Austin's got the crowd in the palm of his hand, The Rock is he's so next to that right now, man. He is in all these episodes. The crowd loves him, man. It's so funny to see. 4 months ago, they were chanting "Die Rocky Die" and "Rocky sucks," and well, they'll be back to that soon. So
yeah, he's got him in the palm of his hand. They're just here for whatever he's doing.
Yeah.
So nothing really happening on Heat coming out of that. So we'll skip over to Raw the next week on October 12th, 1998. And this is actually the go-home show. Only 3 weeks of build-up to this pay-per-view. So,
thank God. Gave us a break.
It gave us a little break. And but again, more iconic stuff, dude. You've got Austin and the Zamboni, week 1. Austin and McMahon in the hospital, week 2. And now we've got Austin with the cement truck as Vince McMahon shows up to the arena in his Corvette out of his personal private collection, and this is the beginning of the show, and the Stooges have this automatic wheelchair that they put him in, and it's got a little donut on there, donut pillow, because
hemorrhoid pillow,
his rear was a little sore from being violated by Austin.
Exactly.
All this little touches, man.
Yeah,
and it's I love it. It's so good.
It's really good. Another thing I love, it's so good, is when they show Kane walking alone into the arena, and he's wearing his windbreaker outfit, jumpsuit thing, but this time he's got his mask on, though. He's got his actual Kane mask, so he's upgraded from the ski mask, and but I just thought that was amazing. He's walking into the arena, it's dark outside, he's arriving late, and he wears this out in public, his mask.
What do you think Kane should be wearing? Because we've seen him 3 weeks now in his casual wear in this awful 90s windbreaker jumpsuit. Undertaker strolls in, all black sweater, black jeans sometimes. Kane should not be wearing that, but I can't quite figure out what should he be wearing.
I think he should be wearing denim. Just straight denim.
Right, yeah.
Just denim shirt, denim pants.
Maybe a leather jacket.
Denim shoes. I don't care. Yeah, leather jacket. Who knows? Something close to the Undertaker's wearing. Because Undertaker will alternate black, sweats or black jeans or whatever, but at least he's all black. But I think Kane should not be wearing a purple jumpsuit. It's out of control.
What about a Garth Brooks style shirt with the flames coming up at the bottom on there that I used to wear in the 90s?
Like business Kane. He's still got the flames on it, but yeah, that'd be phenomenal.
Country Kane.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's gone country.
He's the mayor of Knoxville, yeah.
Yeah, will be, yeah. Absolutely. So, yeah, but I have no idea what he should be wearing. But, Taker's shown arriving later, and he's rocking his black sweats, and he wears sunglasses at night, I just like to say, because he's coming in, again, in the dark, and his sunglasses are on. So, just also super amazing. And someone needs to tell these guys when the show starts.
Right.
They're getting here late. And somebody else gets there a little bit late.
Well, after a month and a half now, we finally get the answer to where in the world is Paul Bearer. He is coming into the arena tonight, finally returning. And what is going to happen here? The family torn apart. They're all arriving separately. No longer Undertaker and Kane coming in together. It's all business now. What's going on between these guys?
Oh, sorry.
I don't know.
Yeah, no, I have no idea. I was waiting for the answer. No, I thought you had the answer. I
I
have
don't.
no
I don't
idea.
have any
Yeah.
answers yet.
You have no idea. But as you saying, where in the world, I got taken back to that. We should have a little, like, that'd be a great little video or meme online. Where in the world is Paul Bearer? And just have a little, like, him pop up in random places. So, anyway,
If
that was just an
only.
idea. Yeah, my mom was stuck there. But yeah, what's happened? Why has he been gone for 6 weeks? We have no idea. Yeah, but I didn't realize that the go home show here is the one with the Corvette when Austin's, dropping the cement into the Corvette, and when that window explodes. Yeah, that wasn't supposed to happen. I've heard Pritchard and Austin both say, and that just added to it, man. It was great.
Yeah.
And
And you hear, the crowd in the arena is just watching on video, but
yeah,
they go nuts over
yeah.
it. Dude, how do you think they clean all that up?
I
Just got wet
wondered
cement all over this
I know.
arena.
I know
Floor.
that stuff dries.
Yes.
I wonder how did they touch on that on Pritchard's show? I don't remember.
I don't know.
Them touch on that, but
they didn't
always
ask
wondered.
permission to do that.
Oh, they probably just paid like a $1 million fine or something to the arena and said, "Here you go." So, yeah.
I
Phew.
love Mankind going and digging through the cement to like he goes and tries to find Mr. McMahon's briefcase through there as well. It's so funny. But yeah, after that, Stone Cold comes out in the arena. He's bragging about it, and then Mr. McMahon comes out and interrupts him, and he is flanked by a masked security guard, kind of in riot gear, and a couple of canine officers as well, barking and going crazy out there. And Austin walks up to them. He's trying to set the dogs off and trying to get the dogs to attack him. And
Right.
it's just funny.
Well, it's weird because there's only one at first, and then all of a sudden the camera comes around and there's two. The second one was late. I don't know what the dog was pooping backstage or what. I have no idea.
Probably.
But anyway, they come out. Yeah. Do you think there's any significance to the Kane 9? Kane 9? No.
I didn't think about it till now, but absolutely.
Canaanites. He does call his fans Canaanites.
That's right.
Eventually. So, yeah, anyway. Yeah, it's they really love this canine stuff, man, as we'll see later on with the Kennel from Hell and stuff. Hey, Russo loves some canines. Speaking of that,
yeah,
your dog.
My dog's right here. You can probably hear. She needs some attention right now. I heard us talking about other dogs. So.
Yeah,
Sorry,
but
Rosie.
this is great. Vince is just like, you violated me, Austin. He's so good.
This promo right here, people act like Vince is out of touch or Vince McMahon doesn't really care about wrestling. Vince McMahon, go watch this segment. Vince cutting this promo on Austin right here. He is Jim Cornette, Bobby Heenan, Paul Heyman, every just chicken crap heel rolled into one. He is so evil, but such a coward, and so embracing his heelishness in this promo. Oh my God, it is perfect.
In the hospital last week, my God. My head is still ringing from being struck in the cranium by that thick metal bedpan.
Bedpan McMahon.
My nervous system is still in shock over that defibrillation in my rectal area.
What? Oh, no.
When you stuck... You violated me, Austin! You violated me!
He's perfectly getting the audience just riled up against him, perfectly being the authority figure who just hates Stone Cold and wants to get revenge on him. And he adds a stipulation to this match here, he does.
Yeah.
He says that, it spells it out right here, that if Stone Cold Steve Austin does not raise the WWF Champion's hand and humble himself to Vince McMahon on Sunday, then he will fire Stone Cold Steve Austin. So not only does this match on Sunday now have the stakes of crowning a new champ, the referee's participation in the match has stakes as well.
Yeah, which like that's what I said earlier. We'll get to that. Like, how cool is that, man? Like, even Austin has stakes here. He's got to do the right thing after the match is over. So, just make sure you got to tune in to see what happens. You don't want to wait till the next night on Raw. You got to see what happens on this night.
That's
Pay
right.
per view. So, good stuff, man. Really good stuff. Yeah, and just Vince's recap of that whole everything that happened, Austin violating him was just. It's worth watching just to
It's
laugh.
incredible.
A good laugh. It's so good. Yeah, I don't know how he does it with a straight face because I would have laughed the entire time.
Oh, yeah.
So I have no idea. I'm like Jerry Seinfeld when I act. I'm terrible. I laugh too much. As you listeners probably know, I laugh all the time. So anyway, the main event of this show, though, is Kane and Taker tagging against Austin and Rock. So just let's pause real quick. The main event of this show is Kane and Taker. I think my light just went off my room.
The Undertaker's coming for you right now.
Okay, let's just set the stage of what just happened for our listeners. I'm sitting here in a room recording, and all of a sudden the lights just flashed on and off, and now they're gone. I guess the light bulb blew out.
It's just heat lightning,
Oh,
as Paul Bear said.
exactly. Oh man, sorry. Get back to where we were.
You better go check on Jenny and the kids.
It's just my room. I mean, not my room, but it's just the room I'm in right now. That's it. All their lights are on in the house, so I don't know. I guess the bulb blew out as I was talking about that. Anyway.
Too good. I wish this was a video podcast.
I wish it was too. Oh, anyway, the main event again, Kane and Taker facing The Rock and Steve Austin. Who again, don't forget The Rock is number one contender. He won that triple threat match.
Yeah.
At Breakdown. So just what a fantastic main event. The future stars, future Hall of Famers. Well, some of them current Hall of Famers. Well, actually, no, only one of them is. Austin is. How crazy is that?
Yeah, they all will be, though, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
And Paul Bear is as well, as he comes out
That's true.
during this match and watches along to the goings-on here. But, yeah, talk about forgetting something. JR has a huge mental lapse on commentary here. He and King are talking when Paul Bear comes out, and JR says, well, we see Kane's supposed father coming out here.
Manager of the Undertaker, the father, allegedly, of Kane. I mean, allegedly. I ain't seen no DNA on that.
And you listeners out there will know that we absolutely got DNA evidence of Kane being Paul Bear's son. We watched all these segments of Kane going through a blood test, and we had, what was the doctor's name?
Oh, Charles Woolsey. Nashville's finest.
Dr. Charles Woolsey let us know in no uncertain terms that Paul Bearer was the father. Come on, JR. What are you doing?
He's talent relations, man. God. Head of talent relations at that point, I guess. But yeah, what a missed thing. Like, I don't know. It's almost like greatest night in the history of our sport with Tony Schiavone.
Yeah.
Can't be every night. Come on, man. It was a big deal. Like, you should have remembered that. So, anyway, well, I'm surprised King didn't call him out on it.
Right.
As much as he likes to blow stuff up. But this match is unique, though. Again, not only the fact that who's in it, but one of the coolest spots that I completely forgot about. But as I watched this, I remember it is The Rock goes for people's elbow. And as he goes to drop the elbow, Taker does his little zombie sit-up. And Rock kind of bug-eyes at him and then just kicks him down again and then elbows him. And the crowd eats that up, man. They love it. It was so great to see.
It was so cool.
It was awesome, man. And Rock's just coming into his own. He's getting comfortable, You can see it. But, yeah, like I said, Paul Bear's out there. And Mark Henry and D'Lo come out at some point, too. And they wound up just attacking The Rock on the outside. So, take him out and turn on him. Again, officially turn on him now. You've kind of seen dissension amongst the ranks there, but they turn on him, and then the match ends when this security guard guy you mentioned earlier in the ski mask, the riot gear, comes out, and he nails Austin with a nightstick, only to reveal himself to be, drum roll please,
from Cobb County, Georgia, where I'm at right now, the Big Boss Man. Oh, man. I'm such a huge Boss Man mark. Both versions of the original Boss Man with the blue police guard outfit, and this one, heel Boss Man. I love heel Boss Man too, so I'm excited for him to play a role in this. And we're gonna cover one of the most infamous Big Boss Man matches here
Phew.
in a few weeks. So
Yeah.
I'm excited for that one.
Now, see, last week when you dropped the little seed of, Undertaker was responsible for someone else's career on the rise, and you said we'd talk about it here, I thought you meant this. But you meant Sacco.
I meant
I
Sacco,
thought you
but
meant Rock, too, because it could have been he touched, like, the Rock's got over here, Sacco, and then now Bossman's back. And so, yeah.
You could go with any of those.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, who's who? Who's who of future Hall of Famers? If Mr. Sacco gets in the Hall of Fame, yeah,
Dude,
that's awesome.
If Coco Beware can be in the Hall of Fame, then Mr. Sacco can be in the Hall of Fame. If the Bushwhackers can be in the Hall of Fame, then Mr. Sacco. Mr. Sacco and the Bushwhackers are basically the same thing. Think about it.
Except
Think about
which one
folks.
is that one of them licks children.
Well, yeah. I mean, Mr. Sacco goes in people's mouths.
That's true. That's
true. Anyway, the show goes off the air with Undertaker and Kane teaming up against Austin. Undertaker locks him in the UFC leg lock. Mr. McMahon watching on. And again, folks, in no uncertain terms, this pay-per-view is being sold on Mr. McMahon and Stone Cold Steve Austin's rivalry. And the Undertaker and Kane are just kind of there.
Right.
And that's the unfortunate, frustrating thing for me with this build-up and this match. Notice what we've talked about the most here. We've talked about 3 of Stone Cold Steve Austin's most iconic moments. And look, that's awesome. That's amazing. But coming from our perspective, talking Taker, it kind of sucks because you could put any 2 guys in this segment and in this match that we're going to talk about here. And
very true.
It would have been pretty much the same. You could have put any 2 guys there fighting for the title because it's really all about the referee.
That's true.
That's kind of where I think why this match is not really remembered all that well and is kind of a disappointment.
Yeah, I agree, man. Yeah, it could have been Val Venus and Dan Severn, honestly, with Austin as the referee, and it would have had just as much impact. I guess to sell pay-per-view buys, you had to put some big guys. But yeah, again, storyline-wise, it could have been you pick 2 names out of a hat, have 2 guys walk out of a box. There you go.
It would have worked just the same.
They'll be exactly. Oh, that brings us to
what is memorable right here is this episode of Sunday Night Heat, the pre-show.
This is my favorite episode of Heat of all time.
Oh, me too. This is better than the pay-per-view right here.
Until Raven started his 7 Deadly Sins thing on Heat, this is my favorite episode of Heat right now. So.
Well, we get the important update backstage, first of all, that Paul Bearer is in the arena, and he's in catering, folks, and he's got 2 plates worth of food. He's in his casual, he's wearing like a Dwight Schrute shirt, piling gravy and mashed potatoes, like singing and dancing as he goes through the catering line. He's happy to be there.
He's so excited, man, and it's so weird to see him like this out of character for this completely different guy than we've seen, But yeah, we got another update later on. He's moved on from dinner, and now he's on the dessert. He's got how many? Like 4 or 5
brownies on his plate. As he should. It's catering.
Yeah,
free food. I do the same thing.
And I mean, it shows with his body. So, it is what it is. But the best part about all this, not only those things, is that when our good old buddy, investigative journalist to the stars, Michael Cole, finally catches up with Paul Bearer backstage.
Yes, guys, I have Paul Bearer back here. The question of the day is, why are you here?
For the love of Pete, I'm here for the food. I'm here to visit with some friends. I'm here to watch the big event tonight.
Come on, Paulie. Seriously, the Undertaker Kane for the championship. You've got to have something up your sleeve.
So you're saying you don't believe me? I said I'm here for the food, the camaraderie, watch the show, that's all.
That's Paul Bearer, gentlemen. Camaraderie. Eat some food. We'll be right back.
I just got nothing to say. For the love of Pete. That's my favorite.
Just poor Paul Bearer, man. He's been gone for a couple of months. He just wants to see his friends and have a little get together, have a little free food. God, everyone's accusing him of being evil and all this stuff, man. He's a good man.
I know, and Cole doesn't buy it. Cole's not buying it. He asks him again, kind of prods him, and Paul Bearer just finally yells at him. He's like, "I'm here for the camaraderie and eat some food." So, speaking of camaraderie, that's a hard word to spell, and
It really is. I definitely spelled it wrong on my notes. But
I would have missed that one in the spelling bee. But anyway,
dude, Paul Bearer continues to be the MVP, the
yeah.
best supporting actor of this podcast.
Oh yeah,
Just in such incredible ways.
that's my. I keep saying this is my favorite Paul Bearer thing, like every couple of weeks, but like this is my favorite Paul Bearer thing now.
Keeps setting the
It's so
bar
good.
and keeps jumping right over it, man.
Yeah, and I was saying before we started
Waddling
recording,
right over it, I would say.
absolutely. I wish we could have had more of this stuff. I wish they could have had like a Fashion Files type show with him. This is pre-network era, pre.com stuff, But I wish they could have had something here that we could have Paul Bear and catering, Paul Bear's Food Network show or something. That'd have been great.
God.
So.
Paul Bear at the funeral home planning out buffet lines.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Missed opportunity.
Such a missed opportunity. So that's going to lead us into the pay-per-view itself. Judgment Day in your house, October 18th, 1998. I don't think I'd ever seen this one before. This is my first time ever watching this show and this match, and it's not a great show overall.
I think I couldn't remember this match at all when I watched it. So I remember what had happened on the show and everything, and I do remember watching the Mankind Shamrock match for some reason because that's a very unique finish when Mankind does the Sacco to himself and puts himself out. Yeah, he has Mandible Claw himself, and Shamrock has him in the ankle lock. He thinks he won, but the ref's like, no, he put himself out with the Mandible Claw. I remember that match for some reason, but I don't remember seeing this main event at all. So yeah, this was really neat for me to go back and dive in and see this. So. Which I do want to mention that it opens with another good video package, and then there's like this CGI Apollo 13 rocket that takes off. So I don't know what it was, but
it looks like something we made in Tech Lab in middle school in 1998.
Absolutely,
that kind of quality.
Remember that, ladies and gentlemen, Tech Lab. I'll probably bring that up in the future episodes here, so I have some stuff to talk about with that. But anyway, this is
down.
Exactly. Judgment Day in your house, October 18th, 98, from Chicago, Illinois, or Rosemont, in the Rosemont Horizon, which again is the site where Undertaker won his second WWF title, where
Good
Austin,
point.
fought Bret Hart. And I want to bring that point up because I want to talk about something in a minute. But your boy Boss Man gives a great promo here.
He does cut a good promo on here. He's just the best. I love Boss Man so much. And I think he's berating Michael Cole in it, which makes it all that much better.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
We get a good hype video, as always. These are always excellent before these matches. But again, this video reinforcing that this is about Stone Cold and Mr. McMahon. Undertaker and Kane are just kind of bit players in this before the match as they make their entrances out here. And their entrances are Kane and Undertaker. There's sort of like a chain link fence set up in the aisleway. And as Kane comes out, it gets set completely on fire behind him. Some cool little special effects. And then Undertaker gets some massive pyro for his entrance as well. It's probably more than the WWE is going to spend on pyro in all of 2018. That's what they spent on Undertaker's entrance here.
Yeah, exactly. Well, they could spend some of that down under money, though, on some pyro nowadays.
Maybe so.
Saudi Arabia money, so who knows. But, yeah, it's a lot of pyro for this entrance. I'm glad you noticed that, too, because there's just a lot. But one thing I want to mention real quick before we head into this is that during the show, Michael Cole says that WWF.com has reported that Paul Bearer was seen going into Undertaker's locker room. And then later on during the show, like between two of the matches, he says that he, being Cole, says that Paul Bearer is currently in Kane's locker room caucusing.
Word of the day.
Which is funny because Kane is the one that would be caucusing as a mayor nowadays, right? So
he learned it from his dad.
I did. So I just couldn't pick a worse word. You caucusing, and I think McMahon pulled it off his calendar and said, "Make sure you say this, pal." So anyway, but yeah, man, I just had to mention that before we break into the match. But yeah, Taker's got a really good babyface pop, here I would say. And again, this is Chicago. That's a great crowd, and yeah. But speaking of great pops in Chicago, the referee
Well,
is
yeah.
out next.
Well, Undertaker and Kane share a few words in the ring. So again,
Yeah.
like we just said, Undertaker and Kane have come out first, the two wrestlers. They're in the ring. They shake hands before the match, which is a nice little character touch. They're brothers. They're
Caucusing.
aligned with each other, but now they know it's business now. They're going to fight for the title. And Stone Cold Steve Austin, the referee, gets the last entrance here. That tells you everything you need to know about what's going on here. When have you ever seen a referee make the final entrance for a match? Even a special guest referee. I can't remember where I've ever remembered that happening, even with a special referee. And that's the whole issue I have with this. And it tells you why the match is kind of heatless here, to be honest.
That's true. That's true.
Although the crowd does love Austin when he comes out.
Oh, yeah, they do. Absolutely. No, it's bizarre to see him come out and not be a participant in the match because you'd think he was, because when he comes out, he's not even wearing the zebra stripes. He's wearing the Austin 316 shirt, but it's got the blood. It's got the red blood on it, and on the back it has his face with the blood running down, which just so happens to be from Chicago. I don't think it was an accident that he was wearing that shirt in Chicago. Going to give him a little bit more over. So.
I bet you're right.
That's from WrestleMania 13, so... anyway, thought that was pretty neat, though. Neat little Easter egg.
You know, Austin has talked about on his podcast, he's talked about how he hates being a special referee. He doesn't like doing that, and it's a lot more challenging than it seems. You know, the referees play a much bigger role in matches than I think anybody as fans, as we ever give them credit for. They do a lot in holding matches together, and when you're a special guest referee, you got to play that role too. So he's talked about how challenging it actually is here. But to me, just watching as a fan, it feels like he does a great job, and he's in character the whole time.
Yeah.
He gives the guys instructions and then flips them off as he gives them instructions and rings the bell. Yeah, he's definitely playing his role.
Oh yeah, he is. Yeah, it is funny he's like subtly hilarious in this match.
Yes.
Like giving them the rules at the beginning and stuff, and then things that he'll pipe in and say later on. It's really funny because you didn't think of him as a comedy character back then, like more so in 2001. You know, he did a lot of comedy, but he was even doing it here. So
yeah,
a lot subtly. But the match takes place. Undertaker attacks first. You know, we oftentimes have been breaking down his matches, and he gets attacked first, but he strikes first here. So which I thought was pretty neat. Attacks Kane from behind and starts corner punching him, and then immediately goes for old school. And then he's in control kind of until Kane turns it around and hits a power slam on him. So that's kind of the beginning of the match. Crowd's chanting for Austin, which again is a problem because they're not chanting for either one of the participants in the match.
Yep.
They're just chanting for Austin. So, you know, like you said, it's kind of heatless for them too. So
it is. That's exactly what I'm saying. But the brothers are still pretty evenly matched here, as we've seen in their matches with each other. But Undertaker goes to make a pin early on. Austin gets down to count, but doesn't even slap the mat. So again, doing comedy here, telling the story of Austin. You know, he's been given this mandate by Vince McMahon, but Stone Cold's playing by his rules. He doesn't care about it. Undertaker, of course, gets pissed off about this. Undertaker stalks him, and then something interesting here, Kane gets a pin, and instead of not counting this one, Austin actually tries to do a fast count here and tries to go ahead and give Kane the title. So Austin's playing some mind games with the brothers.
yeah, he is. I thought it was a really cool little twist right there because you'd have thought watching this blindly or watching him for the first time that he's going to not count. For Kane either, but yeah, seeing him count that fast count was really neat to see. So, and then after that, Taker goes over the top rope and gets clothesline, but of course he has that perfect 10 landing, as we always point out. And here's a staple for most of these matches we've been covering recently is brawling on the outside. So that tends to be the Kane and Taker go-to. So.
It's becoming more and more of a staple of Undertaker's matches. Just a lot of time spent on the outside, brawling around the stairs and the table and all this stuff, and Austin doing more funny stuff out here. He tries to hand the Undertaker the microphone cables to go ahead and choke Kane, but Undertaker, he goes for a chair instead, and Stone Cold just kind of like shakes his head in approval, like, all right, go for that, bro.
Yeah, he's like, oh, fine, touche. Yeah, I liked it. It's really, again, it's funny, but it's not overtly comedy, you know. It's subtle, which is the best kind of comedy, you know, especially in wrestling, because when they try too hard, it's not funny. So, but Yeah, he grabs that chair and he misses a chair shot, and Kane gets back in control and starts bouncing Taker's head off the table and the ring post, and then they get back into the ring this part, and I'm sorry, commentary says that Austin's not going to DQ anyone tonight. Basically, he's like, they're good to go. They get back in the ring. Taker actually hits a wrestling move, gets a snap suplex here on Kane, but then Kane gets up faster though, which is kind of neat. He gets up faster, and then in what I can only describe as a hilarious moment of irony, JR commentary says that these are like two heavyweight boxers. They're just going to be swinging for the fences, not going to use too much technique. And as he says the word technique, Kane has Irish whipped Taker. And when he comes back, Kane botches the spot. So as he's talking about them not using technique, Kane blows the spot. And a small section of the crowd let him know that he screwed up, but they use salty language. But it's funny because Taker doesn't, like we keep mentioning since episode 1, I think, he never loses cool, and they just do the spot again next. And if you weren't paying attention, you wouldn't have known. So I just thought it was funny.
It was, yeah. And they try to redo it here, but it's just awkward. As we've kind of seen, that's another thing we've seen sort of with Kane and Undertaker here. It's a little, little sloppiness here. And again, I think Undertaker's still nursing a lot of injuries here at this point. I didn't mention it. We're talking about the Raw beforehand, but it looks like he really aggravated like a groin injury on that episode of Raw too. He's really selling that. I don't know if he was just selling or if something really happened there, but I think he's still kind of hurting here during this match. But then we get a big chunk of the match spent with The Undertaker going back to that leg lock. He gets Kane into that, works Kane's leg, and I wrote down here, the crowd, again, just doesn't really know what to do with this story.
Right.
Everyone's playing their roles well, and it makes sense from a soap opera storyline television perspective. But as far as a live crowd watching it, it's just they don't know what to do, who to cheer for. It's weird when you're just cheering for the referee.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So it is very strange. And like I said, this part doesn't help because this is a big spot where the match where Taker's just working the leg, he's working the leg, he is using technique and using like a psychological match, storytelling here and working it. And I think it's funny though because Austin tells Taker to break Kane's leg, which is he's like break his leg. So but again, he's chop blocking him, and I just noted too. It's funny because as we were breaking down the Bret Hart and Undertaker matches, that was Bret Hart's tactic. Was to work the leg, and that's what Undertaker is doing here. So kind of chopping the big man down. So I thought it was kind of neat. So
yeah, Kane's kind of playing the babyface here.
Yeah,
as Undertaker works the hold for a long, long time, and we usually give Undertaker credit for working during a hold and not just resting, but I felt like he wasn't doing that quite as much here. It was a little bit lazier. Working that hold, and the crowd even starts a little bit of a boring chant, which I don't know that we've ever seen yet during an Undertaker match. So that just kind of tells you the quality of what we're watching this time.
Yeah, it is Chicago. It was that smart marquee crowd, but it is. You're right. I don't think we've gotten. If we have, it's been few and far between. I can't remember that happening. So. But yeah, very, very strange. And then it's funny because Austin keeps asking, do you want to give up? Do you want to give up to Kane? And he's in the tree of woe at one point. And King on commentary is like, doesn't Austin know that he can't answer without that little voice box gimmick? So it's funny. So it's just handed him the voice box gimmick, and he would have been able to quit, I guess. So I don't know. But then there's like Taker starts squeezing Kane's head against the top rope. It's a very weird, I don't know what the point of that was, but Kane, like you said, Kane's kind of playing the resilient babyface here. It's weird, and he comes back after he reverses a Stinger Splash into a Spine Buster, which is a pretty cool spot for two big guys. But then he's kind of in control, and then he Irish whips Taker, and Taker smashes right into Austin, though. Like they kind of do this reverse thing, and of course there's a ref bump, and Austin, gets smashed in between them, and then he walks right out, and Kane just chokeslams Steve Austin all of a sudden.
Yep, and that's kind of take us towards the finish here.
Yeah.
As finally Paul Bearer waddles out towards the ring, and he's carrying a chair with him. And he gets in the ring, Paul Bearer tells Kane that he'll do it for him, that he'll go ahead and hit the Undertaker, but Paul Bearer turns around and hits Kane in the back with a chair.
Yeah.
Turns on his own son. But apparently Paul Bearer didn't pass the strength on to Kane, or Kane got strength from his mother, not from his father, I guess I'll say, because that chair does not faze him. He doesn't sell it a bit. Kane turns around and faces off with him, but that leaves him vulnerable for the Undertaker to just murder Kane with a chair shot straight to the head.
This shot was gross.
Yeah.
It made me cringe, man. It's the opposite of what Paul Bearer did. It was the opposite. It's so nasty. He just blasts him right in the head, man. Yeah, so Kane just falls down. It's horrible. And Taker covers Kane, but Austin won't count the fall, so Taker gets up and gets in his face, and then he gets hit with a Stone Cold Stunner right here. So, and then I think Austin hits him in the head with a chair as well, and then he counts a 3 count on the ground. Neither one of the guys are covering each other. They're just both laying down.
They're both down.
Austin counts 1, 2, 3, and that's 17 minutes and 35 seconds. And it's a 3 count, and the crowd loves it.
The crowd pops huge. Austin grabs the mic and says, "The winner of the match is Stone Cold Steve Austin."
Yeah, no, you're not.
He's not, but he's, like we said, he's done his own thing here. He doesn't care what Vince McMahon says. He's daring Vince McMahon to make good on his threat. The announcers pick up on it right away. They're just thinking, "Oh no, what has Stone Cold done? What has he done now?" So Austin leaves the ring at this point, runs around backstage looking for Vince McMahon. I don't know what this was all about. Like, why they wasted time with all this?
I think this pay-per-view was short, man. It was real short. Like, that match ended at like 2 hours and 35 minutes or something. Like December to Dismember.
Could have been, yeah.
So anyway, I think they had to just. I mean, I don't know. That's my speculation.
That makes sense.
But yeah, you get to see Bruce Pritchard on headsets in the back. Young Bruce Pritchard on headsets. It's pretty neat though, them going backstage and following him. But yeah, tell us what happens here.
Well, he runs around for like 5 minutes backstage, Austin does, and heads back to the ring. And by the time he's back in the ring, Undertaker and Kane are gone. They've disappeared, which again plays into what we've been saying this whole time.
Oh, and also they have that ability. We've seen that on the show.
Well, that's true, I guess.
No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, you're right. They're an afterthought. So
then we hear Vince McMahon's voice coming out over the arena, asking for the screen to be raised, and this was kind of neat. The Titantron screen gets raised up, and Vince McMahon is behind this glass shield behind it in the middle of the ring. It looks kind of like a luxury box. He's sitting up there in his wheelchair. He's got his bodyguard, the Big Boss Man, right there behind him, and he encourages the crowd to take Stone Cold Steve Austin's picture because it's the last time they're ever going to see him. And he lets out those famous words, "Screw you, Austin, you're fired." Yeah,
there they are. First time we've heard him said that way here on this podcast, at least. So that's another, again, it has its, it doesn't have to deal with Taker directly, but indirectly, it's all about, he was a pawn in this storyline too. So yeah, Taker's just at the helm of all these iconic moments, man. It's crazy. So neither Kane nor Taker are the champion here. We can assume that, they're just pawns in this game. And so, but I think it's cool that we have this new wrinkle in the Kane Undertaker story. We're going to head, down that and flesh it out a little bit more. Because, Bear's turned on his son, even though JR is an idiot and doesn't remember that that's his son. So, So this was more of an angle than a match, honestly. But
I agree with that. I don't think this match is worth going out of your way to see. I think you can skip over it and watch the stuff on Raw much more so than this match. Again, I'm excited to see where the Undertaker and Kane stuff goes with Paul Bearer. I'm not sure I totally remember where all that's leading to or why Bear did that. It's great storytelling with Austin McMahon as McMahon finally gotten what he's been wanting for the past 6 months. He's gotten the title away from Austin, and now he's fired Stone Cold Steve Austin. And we are wondering as fans, how is Austin going to get back? How is he going to get his revenge? So there's good storytelling there. I just wish that Undertaker and Kane didn't feel as much as, the afterthought Undertaker on this episode as he does here in this storyline. I feel like they kind of get the shaft here. Like you said, you could plug anybody into those roles and it kind of feels the same. But, I guess it's just part of it. And, they have played a big role up to this point. So we shall see what sort of role they'll play going forward as we roll on to Survivor Series, the Deadly Game, next week on the show. And I think we're going to get double the fun next week. Two matches in one.
We sure are, man. Two things in one, as our math teacher used to say back in this time in our lives, actually, 7th grade. So,
wow.
Anyway, we're going to get, in my opinion, one of the best pieces of storytelling in one night that we've ever seen. And, anyway, we'll cover that next week. So, but, good stuff, man.
Good stuff. We appreciate everybody joining us and tuning in on whatever you're listening on, whether it's Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, YouTube, Podbean, whatever else is out there.
Phonograph.
If you're doing it on that, man, if you burn it on a CD.
Wax.
Yeah, vinyl. Spread the word. Let us know. Give us some feedback, a rating. Share it with your friends. That's the best thing you can do for us to help spread the word. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook at Talking Taker, or you can follow me as well at Alex Dorio. And shout out to one of our new followers. He is on Twitter. Probably not going to hear this for a few months because he's just a few weeks. He's binging through all the episodes. He let us know at Bobby DGAAF 815. I think I know what that stands for, but
why don't you tell? I'm just kidding.
He says he's loving it out there. So in a few weeks when you get to this episode after binging through it, there's a shout out for you, Bobby. We appreciate you coming along for the ride and spreading the word, man. We enjoy it. We appreciate all of you out there, and we can't wait to join you next week for another round of Dead Man Talking.
Absolutely. If you were at the Rosemont Horizon against Steve Austin's favorite arena to wrestle in, or referee, and I assume he would say, he said that on record on his podcast. So if you were there, let us know what you think. Let us know what you remember about this match, why you didn't cheer for The Undertaker or Kane. You only were there to see Austin. So, but anyway, other than that, ladies and gentlemen, take her easy.
I brought one other visitor, another special guest. What the hell are you doing? Mr. Sacco! Say hello to Mr. Sacco! Mr. Sacco knows you've been feeling mighty bad, so he's gonna give your boo-boo a big kiss!
You're gonna what? Hey, no, Mick, please, just
Mr.
leave.
Sacco!
Please leave, please. Damn it, leave. Take this crap with you. Take it out. Take it all out. Get out! Mr. Sacco. JR, that was awful.